And welcome back, everybody, to the Super Suck Hour. My name is the Super Sucklord, and after a necessary hiatus, we're back with season fucking 2. Today in the house, we have, once again, Mr. Billions McMillions.
Thank you, Sucklord. Thank
Over
you.
there, we have Jcorp TM, once again, dancing when there's no music. We got sued by everybody in the universe, so there's no music. Oh. Just kidding. That's just my paranoia. And once again, Nasty Neil, the waste.
Boom! I'm in the room.
Yep. Everybody's here again. We got a small crew today as we resume this incredible internet program. Now, we finished at episode 9, and I made this big announcement about, hey, everybody, guess what? You know, that's a wrap. You know, we've wrapped it up. We've set it off. We have a good, solid season, and now we're gonna stop and, you know, take a break and come back really strong. That was complete bullshit. I just had to stop it because I got invited to go to Japan for 10 days, so I just had to arbitrarily stop doing my show, and I just made up some stupid bullshit reason, and we aren't back with like a whole new way of doing things. This thing is still flying by the seat of its fucking pants, and I'm totally not prepared, but people have
Back here in economy class.
Yep, but people have been demanding to know what's up with everything, so I'm going to just give the updates, and if you don't like it, you can stick it up your fucking ass.
I think that's a completely legitimate reason to have to take a little brief hiatus. I'm doing an art show in Japan, you fucks. I mean, that's. I mean,
Right,
why is
no.
that like something? Listen, I'm embarrassed to admit. Well, you know.
No, but I mean,
It's been itching the back of my neck since I was young, and
Yeah,
then it
I know,
moved
that
to my
was the
elbow,
reason.
and now I have an art show in Japan. Like,
yeah, but I
so
made it an excuse,
Oh,
like,
shucks.
because if I was a real pro, the show would have been coming out even though I was in Japan. So I fucked up in that regard.
Listen,
like,
you
I
know,
couldn't do both at once, and I'm apologizing for that.
As we're gonna get into, I was there in Japan.
Yeah, that's
There's
why you're
a
here.
huge amount of really quality work over there that you put in, and it probably would have been difficult to do that without focusing and just making it happen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess what I'm just saying is, like, we didn't pause the show because of anything having to do with the show. It's because I had.
If I were you, I would have just been like, I went there for the fucking experience just because I can't. I mean, what the fuck?
I'm saying it was.
All I'm saying is I'm sorry that the show paused, but it's for a good reason, and we're going to get into that today. One of the reasons, let's be honest, like, before we get into the Japan talk, I just want to say we make money off of the show by people just giving it to us for no good reason.
It's you.
And we got a shitload of donations last time, and I'm going to have Jcorp read their names because that's what we do on the show. We thank our donors. So, Jcorp, take it away.
This week we have Jason Thiel, Tenacious Toys, Andrew Fan, Kevin Malone, DB Berkman again, some familiar names in here.
Yes, yes.
Roger Harkavy, Ricardo Cortez, Matthew Hannigan, John W. Feskin, David Dick,
I love his name.
Adrian Cabezas, Con Artist Collective,
Yep,
on
they
a
signed
monthly
up
basis.
for a weekly, monthly donation, not weekly, monthly. You can sign up on the website and go to PayPal, and you can just donate $1 a month automatically. It'll just tax your fucking account, and it goes to me, and we smoke crack with it. So continue.
Kevin Malone again, Fat Cap, Adrian Cabezas again, Kelly Roman, Kevin Malone for the third time, and Austin Cohen.
Thank you, everybody. If you, everybody is coming through. A lot of those people are personal friends of mine, and I fucking appreciate it. And people have been giving like 20, 30, 40 bucks. You guys aren't seeing any of that shit yet because it's keeping this whole operation floating with the fucking infrastructure. But
Off camera, there's a lot of cables and technology.
you're gonna get paid. You're paying your dues right now, and you're doing a great job. So if you want to keep giving us money, that's great because I would love to pay my staff. Go to suckadelic.com/suckhour and you'll see the fucking donation button. And if you'd also like to suck your product's dicks, we do sponsorships. So
I need some gold teeth.
yeah, he needs some gold teeth, and
I
you
need
need
one
to.
too. I think I got one.
We all
You
need
need to
gold
pay him
teeth.
to wear them.
Cold corrode.
Why don't you become a sponsor, Bill?
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, give
I
me
am-
give me
I'm-
give me $20. Come on,
I'm
you
here
can
now. I'm here now.
All right,
I'm helping
okay.
you generate content.
Okay, okay, you're here now. You're here now. And that's all the bullshit I gotta say. That shit is
Is
so
there a
fucking.
fence I can wave on?
That shit is so fucking lame. But you gotta do it. But guess what? The donators have totally dried up, so we need them. So we gotta suck the dick. But anyway, we're here for Bill McMullen, or Bill McMullen's here for us. And I know his time is worth billions and millions of dollars. So let's like use him for what
I
he's
wish that
really
were
good
true.
for.
I would definitely get up earlier if that was true.
Yeah, so you came to Japan with me.
I did.
Or you
I
happened to be there congruently.
No. You told me that you were doing a show there, and I thought this is going to be awesome because you have not been there before.
My first time.
And I've been there a bunch. I love going there with people for their first trip. It's not something I do all the time. It's just something I just coincidentally been able to do.
You've been going there since the 80s.
No, not really.
89?
My first trip was in 94.
That's almost the 80s.
Yeah, it feels like the 80s looking backward. And
I
was only 3 for Christ's sake.
So you're like so you're like a Japan man. Not like some of the guys we know out there.
I can't go that far, but I will say that I've been very lucky to be able to go on a lot of different.
I think you're really fucking lucky to be able to be like, oh, hey, one of my good friends is having a show in Tokyo. I think I'll just go and get a hotel and fly out there and buy all that shit like 2 weeks before. Like, yeah. I mean, obviously, we're not going to ask you, how you do it, but you do it. You just go to Japan if you want to.
Well,
and that's pretty good.
It's not an inexhaustible option for me.
I know.
I can't do it all the time.
I know, and so in that regard, I'm flattered that you chose my event to shoot your
Japan
Japan
Does that phrase
nut.
even work? Inexhaustible? Not really, right? It's not an inexhaustible batch of resources that allows me that option. That's
inexhaustible
really what I meant
means
to
it
say.
will never be exhausted. So it's not inexhaustible. It's quite exhaustible.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, I can smell your exhaust from here. I was really glad that you came because you actually saved my ass and covered my ass quite a bit because I felt like I felt when I first got there, I definitely didn't know the ropes at all, and we had a team, but you were definitely down.
I mean, it was not like I'm just gonna go over specifically. I had hoped we could I'd hoped we could have mobilized more of the crew, because I think it could have been an even more awesome experience.
This was an exploratory venture. We'll build on that.
Yeah, like the first moon missions where the
only
vessel
one guy goes
orbits
out.
the moon but doesn't actually touch that. Maybe it was one of.
That's kind of
we did
what
touch the moon.
That's kind of what it was like.
We touched the moon,
but that was kind of what it's like because
Yeah.
when I came back, I was fucking over the moon about the whole thing, and I felt rightfully so completely transformed. But then I started telling everybody, and a couple of people were like, yeah, but you didn't see the dark side. And I was like, maybe you're right. I did. Wow. It was just sort of like a first pass. So
of course, but I mean, it's going to be that way no matter what. But I think the truth is, I went because I just thought this is going to be awesome. Sucklord has an art show. It's this cool little gallery. It'll be fun to check out. You were really kind, and you invited me to put some pieces in if I wanted, but I thought,
which you failed to do.
Well, no, I opted not to because it's definitely your show. It was definitely your show.
But you're part of my universe.
Yeah, but there's no reason to.
I've absorbed you into my world, so whatever.
I'll take that as in the best way possible.
You supported the way you do, but
yeah.
Before we get into our analysis, I want to just give a little backstory and give a shout out or a sponsorship to this week's episode, which is Gallery Target, which is the gallery that made this all possible. One of the main reasons I'd never gone to Japan ever before, even though supposedly I would be perfect there, is that I wasn't going to pay for that shit myself. It's like I felt like I was
not cheap. Man.
I felt like fuck. If I'm going to go there, it's got to be legit, and somebody's going to fucking treat me right and pay for it because I can't fucking afford that shit. And I waited years for that to happen. Years. I mean, I've had connections in Japan for a while, and I've always sold things there, and there's a cross-pollination between Japan and America when it comes to the designer toy world and beyond. So I just waited and bided my time, and then just through finally a course of a confluence of whatever, all this shit came together, and these guys popped up and gave me a show.
Tomoko and Kiichi?
Yeah, they were
really great people.
They knew who I was, and through friends of friends, I think through some people that we know,
Peter Sutherland.
Yeah, Peter Sutherland and his crew. He showed there, and they offered me the show. So boom, I said, "Hell's yeah, I'm going." I took the show. They gave me a whole 2-story gallery, and I just fucking put a little bit of everything I've ever done in there. It was a total retrospective. And it was right. They got me a nice little Airbnb in the Tomigaya neighborhood of Shibuya, right on the other side of Yoyogi Park.
A nice little Wi-Fi hotspot device.
Yeah,
which
that's
allowed
one
you
thing
to
that I
stay
really
in
hated.
touch.
That I had to carry around a little pocket Wi-Fi wherever the fuck I
Well,
went to use my goddamn
No.
phone
Well,
into Instagram
yeah.
and Snapchat. So I'm carrying the phone, the little Wi-Fi box, all the chargers, and it's all just shit. You know, always everywhere I go into
Yeah.
some bar.
Why did you need that?
Because I needed to use my Google Maps, and I needed to be able to. I was communicating with people.
I was just gonna say that is one way. The other way is to just
I didn't
call
wanna,
up your mobile
but
company
I didn't
like
want to
I
use
did.
all that
and-
mobile data. Yeah, you got to like sort of change your carrier or something like that. Otherwise, you're getting long distance text. And
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I my carrier, I was able to just say I'm going international roaming. It was like $120 for 800 megabytes of
And you
information.
tore through that shit.
I did, by
and
about
I was
2/3 of
Snapchatting
the
like
way.
crazy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
knew
yeah.
I was going to chew up a
it
lot
was-
of data, so I
might
just
have-
said, fuck it. I used
You
the
might have done it
Wi-Fi.
the right way there, but it.
But
it's-
I'm constantly having to plug that fucking thing in. And there was a
Yeah.
moment I got lost. Like the second night I got lost.
I heard about this the next day.
I got lost, and I figured out how to walk home from the gallery, and I took the wrong turn, and I was standing under. I took a wrong turn, standing underneath this giant overpass, drunk. It's like 1 a.m. My phone is dying, and my fucking Wi-Fi is dying, and I have no idea where the fuck I am, and. I got terrified. Like, if all this shit conks out, I couldn't even remember where I was staying. I had it on my phone somewhere. So I just jumped in a fucking cab, and I'm like, go here, and he fucking took me there. I was like,
Drove you like a block like
Yeah.
around the corner.
it's terrifying. You know,
It
some
is,
people are
yeah,
good
yeah.
with that kind of shit. I'm not.
Yeah.
But regardless, we were set up, and we did the show in the gallery.
Oh, that was great.
We had a team out there.
that not the point?
No, but I mean, there's a greater point. We had a team out there. I have a couple of friends out there. We have Don, Data Dub Kratzer, known as the Toy
He's
Whisperer.
been living there since '92,
Yes, we have a couple
so
of-
he's pretty entrenched.
We had a whole crew of like
Embedded.
of white boys that moved to Tokyo, learned Japanese, and just like shacked up with
Gaijin.
either a Japanese wife or hundreds of Japanese girls on Tinder.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
My boy was killing it. We had 3 guys. We had Kurudan, which was our other friend, and this guy Jeremy, the Tokyo toy bastard. I hadn't known them before, and they knew I was coming. They knew me from the toy shit, so they came to help out, and they all speak Japanese, and they showed me around, and they took care of me.
And by the way, I believe they were putting together a little.
Yeah, they were making a
doc
documentary about
your
the
trip.
trip.
So hopefully,
and they took me around. We went to all the toy stores, fucking toys. Did you go? Did you have a chance to go? You were in Japan several times.
Oh yeah, I mean, I used to go every summer when I was in Hong Kong. So I mean, but it was largely for shopping.
Right.
And oh no, totally. That's all I did in Japan. Really, I just like shopped a lot.
That's about all there is to do in Japan.
No, that's
Shopping
not
I
and
mean, I
true.
eating.
did so much cool shit though.
You can go up to take the train to Kyoto or something, but in general, you're shopping and eating if
Oh,
you're
my
if you're
goodness.
stuck in Shibuya. Or
I mean,
Harajuku.
in Shibuya, it was blown away by just like how magnified all the buildings were. Just how it's like 10 times bigger than Times fucking Square. Every single major brand doesn't have a little store. They got a fucking building, and it's just like noises are blasting from
That's
billboards.
I think the
and
biggest
just, like,
difference between Times Square or Herald Square and here is with like the Shibuya crossing there, which is of course, I mean, if you're not familiar with the terminology, you've probably seen a movie where it's like bang, the lights go green, and the whole street area just floods with people crossing. That's generally you're probably seeing the Shibuya crossing if you see that, and it's like that whole area there is very similar to Times Square, except that the major difference
Everybody
is that
behaves themselves.
all the billboards have audio also, so you just get this wild, like swirling, disorienting mode of like
it's like fucking Blade. It's like Blade Runner.
oh my God.
I gotta say though, that's one thing that really impressed me with Japan overall. It's like when I walk down the street here in New York, if I'm trying to like cross Canal Street and there's 5 people in my way, I want to kill them all because they're just standing in the way. They don't know how to walk. You go to Times Square, you're like boxed in, all these horrible people everywhere. In Japan, everybody fucking walks in a sensible, reasonable way. Like that Shibuya crossing, that's like, how many streets is that? 10 streets?
Yeah, I'll come see
Something
that.
like that. Thousands of people just piling in and walking into each other. And I didn't bump into one dude. Not one person was an asshole. Not one person got in my way. It just fucking flowed. Everybody
That's
just...
kind of a special place too. That's kind of like a destination type thing. Like other people I know in Tokyo are like, oh my God, why are you going to Shibuya Crossing? It's like, because it's kind of fun. you know?
It's
like
because the
Times
same reason.
Square,
I mean,
yeah.
now I understand why
Yeah.
people go to fucking Times Square.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a spectacle. But I mean, to be honest with you, after 2 or 3 times going there, I fucking hated it.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
I fucking
had
hated
enough.
it.
You didn't go into the mall 109?
No, I didn't go into the
Oh,
Walmart.
they have like the cutest things. They have like the greatest accessories, and you can get like.
That's girl shit. We did boy shit.
I mean, yeah.
We did boy shit. We went to all the fucking toy stores, and we went to the Nakano Broadway Mall. which
Yes.
was-
Oh, my favorite place. They have all these vintage Sailor Moon Transformers and like all these like super old Gundams from like way back in the day, like vintage
But
toys.
what's fascinating about that place is they're all a bunch of different stores, and
They
they
are.
all
Yeah.
cater to something very specific.
It's a pretty common thing in Japan to have like a large mall type situation. I mean, obviously we have malls everywhere here too.
It's different.
But they're a little less. The walls between them are not so ridiculous. They might even be just like office cubicles almost. Where there will be in the Mandarake Broadway store, there's like what you were saying, like vintage stuff. There's very specific. There's different
different types of vintage. There's not just a vintage store.
Yeah,
there's like
a small,
vintage robots, vintage vinyl. There's a vintage Star Wars store. There's
and
like
there's like animation cell spot where you can
Maybe a
there's
shop just for gacha.
posters. There's
yeah. I mean,
I think there
we
was
went in on
like
the
a
gachas,
muscles.
too.
There was a muscle.
The Kaneko Man. But what I was really impressed with, and then in the bottom of that toy mall, there's a fucking bar that's a toy store. I forgot what it's called. It's like a
right.
kaiju bar, and you just
Yeah,
go in
yeah,
there. It's
yeah.
this cool bar where they drink sake and beer, and just the whole thing is just filled with bins of toys, and people are just fucking around playing with toys. And there were more than one of these kind of places.
It's like the cat cafes, but
Yeah.
with toys.
Did you go to Monster Cafe?
No,
Kawaii
everybody.
Monster?
Or the robot. I didn't do any of that really hardcore
Oh,
touristy
it's
stuff.
so
There was a lot of
cute.
shit I missed. I didn't get to go to the Soapland
there.
or any of the porn, sex, hand job places. I didn't have the budget for that. We did go to the porno mall, though. Were you there? We went to the dildo
Yeah.
mall.
Yo, I
Yeah.
seen it on Snapchat. That shit was crazy. Like,
It was a
looked
big.
like everything
it
was
a big
surgical
crazy.
shit. Like,
They had a lot of steel.
it looked mad illegal.
No, all that shit is legit as far as I know. I mean, but there was like it was like a 5-story building dedicated all to just sex toys.
Like meticulously organized.
Yeah, that's what's
like there were these little like laminated images. Like there were shelves of DVDs, Blu-rays probably at this point, and sticking out about every foot or 2 feet there was like a little laminated photograph of the actress that was in that section, and it'd be like just these little tabs sticking out.
That was
like,
fascinating, the
that
way
was
they
good.
organized the
Yeah.
movies by actress, where in America it's usually by either the company or the sex act. You know,
They
the
did.
anal
They
section.
did kind of have genres also, like attackers genre.
Yeah.
Attackers.
Attackers. I was like, is that a company? Is that a distributor? Is that a genre? What is it?
I couldn't find any bukkake films in the entire store, though.
Really?
Yeah, which is regrettable. I mean, they had the bukkake dicks. They had all the different fuck dolls. Way more fuck dolls than you see in America. These high-quality silicone dolls. Some of them were really small.
They were really weird. Yeah. They
Some
were
of them
like,
are
they're like the size of toys, but yet all the genitalia was like.
and the little
life
outfits
size,
that you
yeah.
put on them.
That was weird.
I didn't quite figure out what to do. The thing is,
Looked like little weird sex
it was
larvae.
just it was in
larvae. just kinda-
unfortunately, this happened like a couple of weeks ago, and now it just seems like some weird psychedelic dream because I can't remember all the details about some of that shit. It's like there's so much shit coming at you that you've never seen before.
That's why I went back. It's like a. It's
and
like
you
a
wanted to
strange
watch
little,
me trip out too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like a weird little psychedelic trip every time you go there. It's.
Well, I just found
bug out.
I found overall. I mean, what happened was I came back. It made me hate New York. It made me question my allegiance to living here. It was just so much more livable. Everything is quality. I didn't have one bad fucking meal. Like I keep telling people this. The sushi in the fucking 7-Eleven was better than some of the sushi you get in some of the restaurants out here.
It's fucking nuts that they had sushi at 7-Eleven.
And they stock it every day, and then just like
unbelievable.
everybody, you go. It's like you go into the 7-Eleven. It's clean. Everybody's nice. The dude that works there has his shirt
I gotta
on
tell
and
you
it's
what's on
ironed.
point. What's on point are all of the convenience store outfits like Lawson's or 7-Eleven or Sunkus or whatever. They've got like the illest weird little like zip up nylon things that the only thing I've seen look like that here in the United States is like the hot dog on a stick outfits.
It just
or whatever.
seems to me like
I've
how much more committed to what they were doing people were out there. In America, nobody wants to work, nobody wants to do shit. They all hate their job. They let you know. You go to a convenience store, the guy's either going to be too fucking friendly or an asshole or different every day. You go in a 7-Eleven there every day. The guy takes his job seriously. He's friendly without being too friendly. He's polite. They're very formal about handing the money
Make sure
back.
they give you all the change on the tray.
Yeah,
and the coins go on top of the bill.
Right, but everybody, whether you're in a cab, asking for directions, whatever, everybody has this sort of same pleasant but professional and deferential demeanor, and it's just so goddamn refreshing, than having to deal with all these jerkholes. I went to the deli down the block, and it's just full of these angry, unhappy, miserable people pushing to the front of the line, and it's like, oh, just take me back to Tokyo, where people just don't annoy me. So yeah, I mean, before we get into just like a recap of the events and how they played out, I just want to say that like the last thing that was really fucking impressive was the goddamn food. It's like the universal good quality of just everything from the fast food. The only bad meal we had was that shitty ramen at that dumb Gundam mall and that McDonald's.
Right.
We
did go to a McDonald's in Shibuya. It was kind of like an exploratory fact-checking mission. We knew that it was doomed. It was like a suicide mission from the start.
Not necessarily. I expected good things because I got there. I'm only gonna eat Japanese food while I'm here, and we eat every fucking all the 7-Eleven sushi to the itsikais, the little bar restaurants. You sit down and get the little finger foods. Were all fucking uniformly excellent. The ramen, the tonkatsu. We went to the fancy
little
nigori
that you never had before.
I had like squid guts, which were kind of interesting, and fried spaghetti. Yeah, tons of things. Just strange shit.
For the first time?
Yeah, I mean nothing too mind-blowing or really exotic. I went for just most of, the classic shit that you think of when you think of Japanese food, like the soba spots and just like the ramen spots. I just wanted to check off all those boxes. We went to a really fancy tonkatsu spot for the pork cutlet and all that shit, and a lot of sushi, and I found it all to be universally excellent. Even the cheap stuff, the fast food, the curry bowls and all that crap. So I just figured, I always read those articles on BuzzFeed, like McDonald's in other countries and the weird shit they do. So it's like, let's try Japanese McDonald's and see if it's any good.
And I'm all up for that.
Yeah, I love Asian McDonald's.
We got the teriyaki burger and like this fish egg.
It was very Japanese. It was like very,
really fucking
very sweet.
Disgusting.
It was like, this is a maple syrup burger.
Oh, yeah. How was the pizza out there?
Okay, now we do have to talk about the pizza because I had.
Oh, that's right. You had gone to like a pizza.
No, they ordered pizza for us when we were setting up the gallery, and they had regular pizza places which I didn't feel like trying, but they got like some Japanese interpretation of pizza, and they meant well by getting it, but it was really actually one of the most disgusting things I'd ever seen. It's like a big thick crust doughy pizza that hasn't been cooked long enough with like cheese and tomato sauce, and then it had like shrimp, creamed corn, like
it sounded awful.
Mayonnaise, pineapple, and then like a ring of like Vienna sausages around the crust.
You're making my ears sick.
Yeah, it even hurts saying it.
Yeah, sausages.
It was disgusting.
When you told me about that, I was like, well, that was.
It had like fish
was
eggs on it. Yeah, I had 2 slices just to be polite. The gallery bought it for me, God bless them, but man, was that weird.
Ished your pants?
One of the things
it was just offensive to me as an Italian American. To see that.
One of the things I've always respected about Morgan, and I just mentioned this to someone over the weekend.
Go ahead.
Morgan, the Sucklord, is open to eating anything. If humans on this earth eat it for sustenance, the Sucklord will say like, well, I mean, sure, I'll try it once, and he'll kind of, I don't like it, but it's like, wow, this guy is awesome. I've seen you eat insects.
I'm pretty open-minded to eating things. Most of the time, I do like it.
Tripe from insects. I've seen you eat a lot of stuff.
I think
I admire it.
It's one of the great adventures in life, and with it was a lot of strange shit in Japan that I never ate before.
And that pizza.
And I went in, but most of it was fantastic. What I really liked was the weird, creative delivery sushi places, where you sit down and it's either coming at you on a conveyor belt or shooting at you on a little fucking remote-controlled train track.
Yes.
It's like they've mastered the way you don't even have to like look at a waitress or a waiter. You just press the button on the screen when you see what you want, and then it just comes shooting out of the kitchen on this little monorail and stops in front of you. You take it, you press the button, it goes flying back, and it's like, $2-3
I
for
think
an
a lot of that
excellent
stuff
piece of Toro.
that sort of stuff is fun to a lot of Japanese diners. It's like, oh, it's kind of fun. This is a new fun
I'll be honest
thing,
with you, every time we went out to eat, whether it was one of those places or one of the itsikais, it was always fun. Like every time we went out to eat, we were partying, we're drinking, we're having a good time, we're taking our time, we were wilding out, we're getting fucked up, and just delighting ourselves with
that hoppy
Epicurean
drink,
variety.
the
Hopi
Dons.
Setho, yeah, this weird thing where you take the shochu and you pour this weird malt beverage in it.
It's like the malt
just
beverage and the alcohol are separate,
fucking awesome.
and then you
mix them together.
Don was telling us literally the translation is the inside and the outside. I had never seen this, but it was awesome.
Me
it was
neither.
Like, it was like
but
a hot,
I got
it was
hooked
like a,
on it.
It was like kind of a like
I'd be
a,
getting food drunk. I'd be eating so.
Yeah, you would
think
have
so.
fucking died out there. Yeah. But we had a lot of incredible shit to eat, and again, it made me hate New York. Just
a little strong, but I hear you. You know,
it was just I couldn't. The
Sucklord went through a few phases I've seen people go through before. I do it almost every time I'm there. Kind of the first couple of days, I'm like, this is so awesome, man. You know, next time, I'm going to know more Japanese. By the time I get back here next time, I'm going to know more Japanese. And then a few days later, you're kind of like, I keep hearing about my friends, and I know a few people that have taught English here. And, maybe I could live here for a little bit. Maybe I could, I don't know, you just start like...
Dude, but that's a lot of people have that happen to them. It has that effect on people.
Yeah.
We knew
I felt that way about New
three
York, though,
guys
the
that
first time
actually gave up their life in America and moved there.
Yeah.
And one killed it on Tinder, apparently. Dude was telling me that he banged 100 girls in one summer off of Tinder. He was matching girls like crazy. This, tall, reasonably attractive friend of ours, Kuru Dan, was just like blasting through Tinder.
Blow up his spot.
What's his Instagram?
Wow.
He knows it. He wants to be. It's Kuru Dan something.
Oh boy.
Anyway, he got me laid. He just fucking dialed up his Tinder and produced a couple of girls. And
He
Fucking awesome.
He turned it up. He turned it up, and then we were at a dinner, and these women show up, and it's just like, well, it's almost we're like right on the brink of like an escort type vibe.
No,
no. I'm saying the way it was like, oh, he reached out, they showed up. It was successful for you.
I don't know. I'm not one of those type of white guys. I'm too short and weird and look too much like a rodent. But if you're a little taller and a little more just sort of generically American alpha male-ish looking, you're just gonna murder it out there. This dude was just like looking at his Tinder and just swiping without even looking, and it was just match after match after match. That's one of the girls.
Dismissal.
One of the girls I hooked up with was like a chance in a million. It was some girl he was just swiping without looking. And then he sent messages to like 15 of his like matches that he got in like the last couple of minutes, and two of them showed up, and one of them came through. One of them. I had a weird experience though, because like I haven't banged a Japanese girl since like 1998 probably. What's that face for? You don't want to hear the story?
No, go ahead,
Okay.
please. You and more adventures with, Asian girls.
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh, you were like an Asian girl. But that was actually said to me. But
so it was a
when
quote,
I got busted
a...
years ago by a Japanese girl who noticed I was trending in a certain direction. But whatever. I had a few encounters with some Japanese women from Japan here in New York. And they did this weird thing where we'd be sitting in a bar, fooling around, making out, drinking sake, and she would take a sip of sake and then kiss me and spit the sake in my mouth. And then I'd drink it, and then I would do the same, and there was this little make-out game. It was like, oh, this is cool, this is funny. And I didn't think that much of it, and then that was like almost 20 years ago, and then just this last time I was there drinking sake in a bar with this girl, and the exact same thing happened.
Oh.
And I'm like, this must be a cultural thing. That's what happens. It happens twice, and you think it's like part of the culture. Oh, that must be some old geisha technique that they used to do back in the day. I don't know. So I smashed, and
yeah,
it's like, not much more to tell.
We would like meet up around 10 in the morning, and then that Sunday I just didn't really hear. I just didn't hear back from Morgan till like 3 or 4 in the afternoon type thing.
Whatever. She came through. What was also great about this girl is she bought all my food.
Awesome.
She took me out to lunch the next day and paid for it. And then we went on a date to a little bit more pricier place like the next night, and she bought all the drinks and all the food.
Wow.
And then she came home, and we got to work. We bought sake at the 7-Eleven. We heated it up in the microwave, and then we drank it, and then we had sex again, and it was fine. And then we exchanged some pleasantries in the morning, and she went back to her life, and I came back to New York, and there was no annoying, overhang.
Did she suck it?
Of course she sucked it. She sucked it off. It came in her mouth. It was awesome.
Awesome.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
She just woke me up in the middle of the night, did it, and I only came the one time. But it was nice, it was very nice. She was a really sweet girl, and it's just like it happened on my birthday, and it's just like, the
Awesome.
the type of thing you just want to happen when you go to another country for the first time. So
Hell yeah.
so
And on your
thank
birthday?
yeah.
What was her name?
That's fucking awesome. You don't remember.
Chiharu.
Oh, okay.
Chiharu.
Chihara. Oh, that's a cute
Chiharu.
name. Chiharu? That's a cute name.
Chiharu, yeah,
Nice,
she
you
was,
remember
she
her
was
name.
a
That's
nice girl. Yeah, I wouldn't not see her again. I don't know if she's gonna listen to this, but interestingly enough, she said she came from the absolute smallest town in all of Japan, in the way out in the countryside. And part of my fantasy of Japan was actually going way out into the country. That and a bukkake, neither of which I didn't get to do, but I planted the seeds for both of those things for my next trip. I'd give her a call again.
Planting
maybe she could take me
seeds.
away. I did ask around for bukkake, and most of the people only knew a guy who knew a guy or whatever. And then at the very last night, I may have got a lead for doing free work as a stagehand on a bukkake shoot, and apparently that's how you get to be a juicer, or what is it called, a shirudanyu.
A what?
Shirudanyu, I think it's called. You're not. It's
The guys that come all over the girls?
He's like one of the guys that produced the sperm for the bukkake. So I'm working on getting to know people that can get me into that business. The guys from Vice told me about that. So I'm gonna. There was a lot of. There was a lot of. I mean, I really felt like I only saw the really nice, friendly, tourist accessible shit, and I want to go see the fucked up shit next time. I didn't get to go to Soapland. I couldn't afford to go strip clubs or any of that shit, regrettably. So that's all for phase 2.
Well, back to phase 1 though. Let's talk a little bit about your show,
right?
And Target Gallery and
Gallery.
I mean,
Target.
I showed up a day later. You were setting up for your show. I kind of showed up around 6 p.m. or something like that, and you were actually getting ready, I think, for that Vice interview.
Yes.
And you were kind of pricing a lot of your pieces. Very affordable show, by the way. I'd say a lot of.
It was really weird.
Nice entry level. You were kind to the people.
Well, I had to be kind to myself, and I also had to be kind to the people running the gallery because they ponied up a lot, and I wanted to make sure that we sold shit, even if it was not for big dollars. Yeah. But we got pretty much all the major shit in there.
Yeah,
sold.
A lot of great value there.
Well, next time we're gonna jack the prices up a little bit, but it was surprising because
it's a good approach.
It was just great because it wasn't all toy people. Most of the so-called quote unquote art sold. The toy things didn't necessarily pop off as well in the gallery, which is great because fuck toys. But except I'm totally psyched to get back into toys.
But you had some nice edition, some print editions and stuff you had done.
My prints didn't sell at all.
It was well, okay. We didn't need to mention that.
Why? I'm not afraid to talk about that.
But there were some nice prints. Maybe you have some available still. I hope so, because those.
Yeah, I got tons of those shit. My thought about the prints that I'm doing is I understand it's a new thing and you might not understand it, and it's got a giant cock on it, and it's maybe, but I'm gonna keep making that stuff, and someday you're gonna be sorry for not buying the cheap one when it was available.
Did you approve of the copy that they showed at the gallery for your show?
Oh,
why? What does it say?
I mean, they called you a cosmic playboy, which I think is somewhat accurate. But
yeah, I don't know if you would have approved such a title.
What else did they say?
So Suckadelic is an evil arts organization based in Chinatown, New York City. Yes. Specializing in bootleg toys, illicit remix records, and duffed-out supervillain soap operas,
Approved.
Is universally regarded as the sleaziest brand in the game. Ruled from a hidden sweatshop by the galactic criminal and cosmic playboy, the Super Sucklord, Suckadelic has continued to pump highly addictive pop culture crap into the veins of willing victims since 1997.
Yeah, that's my press blurb. That's my bio.
Oh, there you go.
You don't like it?
No, I think the cosmic playboy part is pretty accurate, and the sleaziest brand in the game, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's been a I crafted that over many years. So, I mean, I'm guessing there's a Japanese translation of that as well.
There is.
It's 5 words.
Yeah, well, regardless.
New York City.
any of the shit that you see sitting in my web store that looks like it's a little expensive and you're not sure if you want it, trust me, you want it. Long term, you want it. You want it because, like, listen, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was finishing up all this work, I was just like, I wasn't doing anything new. For the show I did in Japan, I made pretty much just like a good, accurate smattering of representations of just about every style I've ever fucked in, from suck panels to large panels to bootleg figures to mash-up toys.
It was kind of like a retrospective.
Yes, and I saw what people really wanted from me more than anything else, which was blister carded action figures on some sort of cool, ironic panel, no matter what the size is. That and food-related products. So I got, but to be honest with you, I was so sick of doing that. I quit the toy game, quit the resin game, quit the bootleg game. But after going to Japan, I realized, like, that's the shit that I'm good at, and people out here want that crap. So I'm going back, and I'm just gonna make more of that crap. And I came back with a zillion ideas for bukkake micronauts and tentacle porn figures and a whole bunch of other crap that nobody's ever seen before. But it revitalized my interest in creating artwork because it was nice to fucking have people buy it for a goddamn change.
Well, it was a great presentation. I keep going back to the show because I think it's important that, I mean, it was a nice representation and showcase of your work. It was a cool thing to see. The only other thing I've seen that's approached that is, I think several years ago at Designer Con, there was a retrospective of all your figures, and it was just the magnitude of work was like.
This was a little bit more like the Boo Hooray show, because it was like this was the only second time I think that I've done something in an art gallery that was supposed to look like an art show in an art gallery and not some ironic busted store or shit hanging on the wall in a sneaker store or a toy store.
And Keiichi and Tomoko, those are the Target gallery people. They were stoked on the show
before, haven't they?
Have they?
They have, according to the website. Yeah.
Really?
And Stephen Powers.
Yeah,
too.
Stephen Powers is actually Espo is going there next month, I think.
Oh.
Eric Elms, Peter Sutherland.
Yeah, it was a real fucking art gallery, believe it or not.
Very legit.
Believe it or not.
Good family of artists they have.
Yeah, well, thank God for that. It really gave me a boost of confidence and encouragement because I was really at the end of my rope, to be honest with you. I was like, all the creativity had been sapped out of me. And both getting the double hand job of having a successful show that people liked and being treated like a somebody, and people actually having to take a chance on me and put their money where their mouth is, and people buy the stuff, that alone was encouraging. And then just seeing the way of life out there and just like the desire to go back, really got me encouraged to like get back on my game. There's still much more to be done.
So you called us all in and now we're doing this shit again.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just saying. So you're like, let's get back in. No. I'm playing, bro.
I mean, I just think it was totally a revitalizing like you said, it was a transformational experience because now I'm the fucking man again. I was a fucking herb for a minute, but now I'm the fucking man.
You've been the man, Sucklord.
I didn't feel like the man, but it's nice because like people that actually buy artwork bought that shit.
Yeah, so, it was a solid, and it was a nice evening. It was cool, man. And what was the general reaction when we were like going back and forth, and I was meeting with the gallery? There were all kinds of friends of the gallery coming in, and people just kind of like respectfully like looking at everything and pointing at stuff, and they were talking in Japanese.
How about
to
that?
The gallery owner.
How about
funny.
that?
It was like,
how about that?
And then you were by the end of the week there, you were kind of able to navigate yourself around Harajuku and Shibuya.
I did the show. I stayed there for 10 days, and I did the show in the beginning. It was like within the first 4 days, and then had 6 days to fuck around and do shit. So I went to all the fucking toy stores, and I went out to a vinyl sofubi factory.
Right, with Data
way
Dog,
out
right?
in the fucking suburbs. Yeah, I went out.
And he's made your some of your pieces before. Can we see one of those things? Or?
There's a certain type of Japanese vinyl toys called sofubi in the West, where it's made out of this sort of particular vinyl material, and it's made in a very particular way, only in Japan. And it's a gigantic, most people know this, but others don't, it's just like a gigantic subculture in the designer toy world. And it's not easy to get access to getting that kind of stuff made. You got to be kind of immersed in the scene and the culture. And we have a friend named Data Dub who's an American expatriate who's been living in Tokyo for 25 years, and he is known as the Toy Whisperer because he's sort of a facilitator between Japanese people and American people when they want to go from one place to the other and make some friends and meet people and get into the scene. And he produces these little sofubi finger puppets called the Finger Five, based on characters designed by some of the major players in the game in America. And
The Sucklord
one of
was
them happens to
considered,
be the
as
Sucklord.
one, yeah.
Also in the roster is Matt Dowdy from Onel Design and Paul Kaiju and a few others. And we went and watched these things get made, and it was fucking incredible.
What I was watching?
Yeah,
the
we
metal
went.
casting?
This
Yeah.
is on your Snapchat, right?
Yeah, we put this on the Snapchat, which all got erased like an asshole. But we went and watched them make these toys, and it was the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen.
And a lot of like the videos I've seen on YouTube, it's kind of like a room about the size of this, but there'll be like a weird vat of liquid.
Here's the full account.
Yeah.
We take a train like at least an hour out. You know, we were on the train for a long time till we got to the very outskirts of Tokyo, and then an older guy comes, one of the guys who runs these factories, comes and picks us up in a car, and we keep driving for like another 15-20 minutes till we get to his house, and it's just in the middle of the suburbs. You know, it's a sort of Japanese-looking suburbs, but it's just like little cottages and stuff like that. And in this one house, a little Japanese house with the tatami mats and everything, there's just an extension with just this fucking little room,
Toy
tiny
factory
little room, a
attached to
toy
the-
factory. It's just like there's like a centrifuge, there's like a place where they have this stuff, it comes in a liquid and they heat it up in this machine, and then they pour it in the mold, and then the mold goes in the centrifuge and it spins around, and the material spreads throughout the mold, and then he puts it in this bath that sort of cools it and cures it, and then he washes it, and then if it's not full he puts more in, he weighs it and then puts more in and runs it through. And it's just like, it's this kind of industrial looking procedure, and it's this little old Japanese man in his slippers in like a fucking garage, and his wife is there cutting the flash off of that. I'm like, oh my god, that's gonna be like me and fucking Samantha in 40 years. And it was just amazing, and he was telling me like that's how the real toy companies made this stuff. Like these are the same guys that were making Godzilla toys and, you know, licensed toys in the 60s and 70s, and they continue to do it. And it's just this little neighborhood of old men making these fucking toys, and it's just like the weirdest fucking thing in the world. And it was pretty remarkable getting to see that. And it was just very Japanese that this guy had just doing this thing for like 50 years.
And he made some more of the Sucklord figure?
Yeah, he made one of these while we were there. They have 6 figures in a single mold,
Right.
and they just run them all at once. You know, just pump that shit out, and it was really amazing. Getting into the home stretch here.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say it was a lot of fun hanging out with the Dons and meeting those dudes and Jeremy and stuff, but it was like it was pretty toy centric. It was like this is crazy. Like I kind of felt like you had met Data Dub before, the one Don, but the other two, right? You hadn't met before, right?
Yeah, those guys were new
and
to
they
me.
were kind of like they were kind of coming at you like, dude, I'm going to show you all the rad toy spots, like, you know.
And
like,
they did.
Like I was joking, like
All
they were
like
like, I'm going to
200
toy
of
you
them.
under the table, you motherfucker. You know, like,
We went to dozens of toy
and
stores.
I'll admit it got a little.
Me too.
So I
It happened to me
kind
too.
of broke off a little bit towards the end, and I went to some of the places. During a break, we were just having like you had said you had gone over there to a lot of clothing places, some shopping. What was your?
Yeah,
you
we
probably had a totally different experience. We went as toy nerds. You went as like a cool hip chick.
Well, no, I mean, so first of all, like I'm kind of a nerd at heart. I have this. So one of my favorite artists, her name is Yurie Sekiya, and she does these really beautiful, really cute drawings of these like young naked girls in her style. And I had got to see her show at Pigs of Zingaro at the Nakano Broadway Mall, and the show actually turns out I found out later that it was sponsored by Murakami, obviously, the Kai Kai Kiki, but the show was called Kira Kira Omeme no Onanoko, and it just means like girls with sparkles in their eyes. And I was so for it. I mean, I love.
That's totally you.
It's totally me, and I love her where she has these plushes coming out. It's amazing.
Why aren't you doing all of that?
Well, I mean, there's money and rent and stuff in New York City life, and
You're
She's
a
getting
girl
there.
with sparkles
She's
in her
getting
eyes.
there.
You
You
can do
know,
anything
she's
you
working
want.
on it.
I
She's
know with
working
enough
on it,
sparkles, I can do anything.
You belong
That's a
there.
hint for you. Start sponsoring the show.
Next time I should go with you instead of a bunch of fucking.
Oh my gosh, I would show you
The
so
whole
many
crew's
places
gotta go.
where all
The
where
whole
all the
team has to
cutest,
go.
trendiest girls hang out too.
See,
Yeah.
I mean, you went with a bunch of guys, so.
Hang out in Harajuku.
And we managed
you know?
to scoop, but yeah, we did.
I definitely want to go next
Yeah.
time.
It was a dude thing.
It was kind of a
definitely
dude.
It was
It was a
dudical
dude
as
zone.
fuck.
It was a dude zone. There's a lot of wandering, smoking toy store type things.
After
you know.
6 floors of the Nakano Broadway Mall, I was like, I did
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
have enough toys.
Did you guys
artists
do
from
like drugs
Australia.
in Japan?
We didn't do any drugs at all.
No weed, none?
No weed, nothing. I went 10 days without smoking
It's,
weed, which was very fucking
That's
weird.
why you drink so much.
No, I drank a lot anyway. I didn't drink more than I normally drink, which is a lot
The
every
weed
day.
laws are pretty strict over there. Like it's like that would be like getting caught with heroin over here.
Really?
Apparently, right?
Yeah,
like
it's
the
not
laws
as
are-
liberal with the weed over there. And I
No.
just didn't want to take any risks or anything like that. And I wasn't there to be stoned. I was there to fucking bug out. I wanted to have my attention. I had to pay attention because I didn't know where the hell I was going. What was I doing? I want to be
touche.
all fucking stoned. And it was great because it actually made me realize like maybe I don't have to be fucking stoned all the time to enjoy my life.
I got
In some
really.
ways. But I mean, just being on the streets of Japan in some ways is like an experience to just
I
get
felt like
high
I was on
its own,
LSD
you know?
the whole
Yeah,
fucking
it's-
time. And I
it's
gotta
something.
say, I really did enjoy the Japanese toilet. The heated seat and the ass washing thing with the
yeah.
3-directional shit.
like
Not only did I like it because when I would wake up in the morning, I'd sit on the toilet, I'd drink my coffee like I do in the States and look at my phone. And then every time things got a little questionable, just
A little tickle.
wash your ass out. But where it really comes in handy is you're out on the go. You've been walking around all day farting into your drawers, and then you're going into the second half of your day. Instead of having to go home and take a shower or wipe your ass,
yeah,
you
like
just go there,
half
just
the reason
go-
you're getting in the shower.
Yeah,
is
you
just
just
to
go, you
kinda-
sit down in some public bathroom and wash your asshole.
See, that's...
That is so goddamn civilized.
I don't know, man.
What a place!
Because how does the water not like share? Like how does
Share
it,
what?
Like it's splashing on people's asses all day.
Because
Oh,
it's like
no,
here's the
it's-
edge of the
it's
toilet
a separate,
and it's
it's
shooting.
this little mechanical device that comes out, sprays new water as though it's coming out of a faucet. It just
And it retracts after.
and then it retracts
does?
and it's self-cleaning. Yeah, we actually have one.
It's just a
at-
high
at
pressure,
our
yeah,
apartment.
of course,
it's-
because you're fucking civilized.
yeah, it's civil.
I mean, I
yeah.
feel like
You
such
really
a
gotta
get your assholes
savage
washed.
being back
The
in New York. now.
warmed seat. Yeah,
Yeah, there was another one that made like digital flushing sounds for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, that's
that's for
for-
discretion.
Oh, so when you're
Exactly.
shitting loud, you press.
Yeah.
That's what that's for.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait,
Incredibly
what is that? What does
embarrassing.
it do?
It like makes a flushing noise without actually flushing the toilet.
It just makes a bunch of noise. So, you can kind of
in
like,
case you're making a loud.
it's like a little audible version of like if you're watching.
So
it's
after
like,
each
you're watching
birthday,
a western and they
you know-
use like a little sagebrush to mark the tracks.
It's
But you
a-
guys don't turn on the sink if you're like, the faucet if you're like going
But
heavy.
why? If you got
I
this
mean,
little digital,
mean-
It's in the men's room. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, it makes
Fair
like.
enough.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, what I did not like is it was a Japanese shower in my apartment, and that was not for me at all.
No.
With the bowl, you got to pour the water on your head, or the hose. It's just like
Oh,
there's
yeah.
nothing to hang it to the goddamn wall.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh.
It was awkward. It was
Yeah,
awkward.
Where you had to literally just manually pour water.
I
on
was
yourself?
like, there was a bowl by the tub, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like trying to pour the water on myself, and it's like, it's cold, and it's just like it just didn't feel. It was like too much goddamn work,
Well,
Everything else was so sophisticated.
You gotta work hard to be
And the
sophisticated and
shower was
civilized.
like-
I left a day before you. I wish I could have stayed longer, but it was great. We were there right on the cusp of the like Hanabi, the
cherry blossoms.
cherry blossom thing. We saw a lot of that, but not quite the full thing.
It was portentous, though, that it was
Yeah.
about to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it was all over Instagram the next week, and I was like, "God!"
Yeah, I know, and it's
But
just you know
it
what
was
I
great.
actually I tortured myself over that because it was like, oh, I'm going to Japan and it's going to be the Cherry Blossoms Festival, and that's like symbolic of like the blooming that's happening within me and my life and my career. And then I get there and I'm like, oh, it's going to happen any day. It was a little cold. I was like, oh yeah, it's going to blossom and I'm
I
going to
don't
get
like
laid.
this symbolism at all.
And then it didn't really happen, and then it came back, and then it happened after I left. And I was like, that's it. It was a waste.
No,
I
it was
missed my
fantastic.
chance, just like I missed my chance in life.
I
I put a lot of fucking. I put a lot of meaning
symbolism in
into
that.
it.
I
I put a
understand.
lot of meaning into the trip.
When you got back to Earth, what was it like? What was your jet lag? Like? 'Cause
No, the
you
jet
are-
lag
it's
was a
like-
disaster. I
it's
flew
like
back to
16
LA. I didn't have
hours.
no jet lag going out there. I
Yeah.
landed and I was
It's
ready
like
to go. I woke up the next
ready for
day.
action.
I slept really well while I was out there. I had
Yeah.
the fucking best time. Even when I was tired, I felt fine. Whatever, fuck you. Got back to LA and it's like, like for fucking. I'm back in New York after LA for 3 days, still all fucked up.
Yeah.
sleep until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, waking up in the middle of the night. I still have it.
Yeah.
And also I was just like, fuck New York, fuck America. I don't want to be here. Everything sucks. No. The only thing I have is my work, which was great. That's the only thing I give a shit about.
Got my own
now.
little Japan right here.
No, we're not special or nothing.
Yeah.
You? Yes, you're totally special.
Me?
Yeah, but it's just like.
I'm not.
No, I'm happy to get back into this. It was like flying out was so easy, and just getting there was so easy and so perfect, and then coming back and trying to reintegrate was really fucking hard.
How long was the flight?
The flight out there was 11 hours, and the flight back was 9 hours from LA. I flew to LA, which is
it's like
6
9
hours.
it's like 9
I wasn't
going
to do that whole flight all at once. I watched The Force Awakens on the flight out and the flight back.
I did too.
But what was great about the international flight is they didn't charge me for my fucking bag, which is hella civilized.
All right.
All the movies and shit were free. You didn't have to pay, and they fed me twice, 2 free meals.
It was nice. So I've been on airlines where they kind of go regionally. Like as you're leaving America, they're giving you this kind of like chicken whatever, and as you're coming down, landing in Tokyo the next morning,
you get a Japanese
they're giving
breakfast.
you like a soba noodle breakfast. I'm like, this is the
easing
best.
You in.
And I want to say, I had a similar experience coming back. I went to the West Coast thinking I'd just kind of like feather it in a little bit, but I still was fucked up a little bit.
I felt major culture shock when I came back. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't feel like, I feel like I could just disappear in Japan, and then I came back to America and I felt like a total fucking foreigner.
I don't know. You want to get back? I guess.
I'm looking at learning some Japanese and getting some sort of residency program. I mean, I could see like buying art supplies there, then hitting up the Micronauts store and getting a bunch of toys, and then hitting up the dildo store and getting a bunch of that shit, and then going back to your art studio and making some sort of like commentary about Japan out of all of that shit, and just use the culture around you to create, something unique, through the lens of an American person that's now living there and adapting to the creative lifestyle there. And you could write some fucking banging ass little thesis statement and get some residency program and just go out there and do that shit. So y'all not gonna see me again. That's my plan. I'm just gonna go out there and I'm gonna fucking
just Skyping this in.
I'm just gonna get absorbed. You have to go out there too again. We have to do like a whole psychedelic program. My goal is to go out there every year and just continue to build on it. So continue to make yourself useful to me, and I'll bring you along. You could get there on your own speed perfectly. I think the shit that you're selling would totally fly out there.
Oh, thanks.
So that's that.
What a trip.
Yeah, what a trip. So thank you everybody for listening to this reunion episode of the Super Suck Hour. We're back in effect and trying to make something out of this shit. We promise there's not going to be another obnoxiously long hiatus in the future until there is. Continue to watch. We're about to unleash a whole bunch of shit into you after we gradually ease it back into your puckering and willing oral assholes. My name's the Super Sucklord. You can find us at suckadelic.com/suckhour, Sucklord on Instagram, Sucklord66 on Snapchat, Billions on Instagram, BillionsMcMillions.com.
Yeah, BillMcMullen.com, whatever, you'll find
whoever
me.
you
if
are.
you want to find me, you can find me.
You can find me. Jcorp TM.
No pressure.
On Instagram and Snapchat, Jcorp TM. You can find me.
WSTLNT.
TD.
Wasted talent without the vowels. Good night, everybody. All right, that episode's a wrap.